Hello and welcome once again to games that I worked on, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. I'm gonna do a quick options change. That's not what I want, because I am really tired of that pop-up saying that my health is low and that I need to stun a dude and execute him to get it back. But it also looks like yeah, looks like there is not an option to turn that off. That's really annoying. I would have thought that would have been under gameplay options. Alright, I'll check it when I get in-game. Alright, so in part 1, obviously hopefully that's not going to make too much noise. Just move the microphone a little bit in case there was some weird noise there. Part 1, played through to meeting the Inquisitor, grabbing the top secret power source thing and falling into the basement. And part 2, which is this part, I'll be playing hopefully another 2 hours or so of the game. It is at this point
Captain,
that some of like the big major cuts in the game started to happen, so there's going to be a lot of talk about the cuts in the game from here on out.
Will spit us out there eventually.
Fine. Continue heading toward the Hab Center.
Alright. So, Captain Titus is all on his own. Options. Subtitles. Nope, there is no help text thing. That is really annoying. Alright. So I'm in the tunnels beneath the city. It's rather a lot of stuff here. And this is kind of a windy bit. I mean, cuts don't... I'm here they didn't really cut much of anything. Shit. And then, and there's these tunnels, which are obviously tunnels. Some hidden stuff, and yeah, not really a lot to talk about in the tunnels right here. There may have been more tunnels at one point. Power axe, ammo. Yeah, it's just ammo. Yeah, they do these dumps that aren't very useful. I think earlier on in development, I think there was a little bit. There were some more open areas. I think this was one of the things that got cut, and this actually felt a little bit more like a horror thing game going on, because it was. You'd just be like walking through these open areas and occasionally see shadows of like grots or whatever walking around in hidden places. In their process of cutting down a bunch of other stuff that kind of got reduced to a couple of these tunnels. Screwed that up. Forgot about that explodey thing there.
Sidonus, Leandros, respond.
Talking again.
Captain, the Inquisitor
I
insisted
think, as I
you
said,
could not
I
have survived.
said a little bit about this in
Well, I
part
did.
one, but
I
I
have his precious powers.
originally this section of being alone under the
These tunnels will
city
spit us out there eventually.
was
Fine.
significantly
Continue heading
longer,
toward the Hab Center.
and there was actually it was like you would have the weird boy would show up periodically to screw with you, and he'd like, and there was at one point you do find the dead body of Captain Midas, and he's got a heavy bolter, and there's a really, it's like, and you find that body, you pick up that heavy bolter, and then the weird boy teleports in, and then he starts teleporting in just hundreds and hundreds of orcs that you gotta take out with that heavy bolter. It's one of the cooler meat grinder sections in the game. And eventually there was this boss fight with the there was a big boss fight with the weird boy, but the boss fight never quite worked, and they made cutting that part of the crisscross cuts, but it probably should have been cut anyway, and it felt like there was supposed to be a puzzle element to it, because you were in this room where there were a lot of destructible things. And it felt like you kind of had to blow up it always read like you had to blow up the destructible things in order to get to the weird boy, because the weird boy is teleporting around and he's putting up this psychic shield thing. But basically the boss fight just boiled down to you let him teleport, he would teleport to ground level where you were, and then you just kind of ran up and beat him up. So it wasn't very satisfying, and it felt, as they said when they sent the email about cutting it, it never quite read, the boss fight never read properly. So by the time the final game happened, there was really only one real boss fight, or well, I guess two boss fights, but only one of them was at all satisfying, and obviously I'll talk about it when I get to it. And that's not good. It's much later in the game than I am right now. Okay, nothing here.
Kill this fucker!
You can sort of see the. I don't know. I think a lot of the seams in the scripting kind of start to show. Oh, it's good. There was a sort of a meat grinder moment in these tunnels at one point, because there was like a ramp that had a heavy bolter on a mounted heavy bolter on the top of it, and you would just man that. Grenades. I just like shoot at a bunch of guys that were charging up the ramp at you. And it was kind of cool, but it wasn't as cool as the big one that happened later and got cut. But yeah, I'm just throwing two of these weird little tunnel sections right after others. Also not at all satisfying as from a design perspective. No, shit. Oh, that was
Forget, never forgive.
not very good at all. Vengeance launcher. Ow. Yeah, I mean, this is really just not enough. Yeah, see, that right is like 100 orcs come swarming down at me. That was the first heavy mob that I go up against. Oh, what? Oh, man, what the hell just happened? Wow, this is not good. Ah, god damn it. Almost pulled that off. That was... I don't know why he didn't stun properly. Those things don't screw me. Ah, man, I am really screwing this up, aren't I? This is not as cool. Man, I really want the melt-a-gun. The melt-a-gun would be super useful right now. That was close. Vengeance launcher. like heavy armor knobs. No, sir. Cool. That was... thinking I would stun him with a single shot from the... No, the sniper rifle would be able to stun him like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, sorry. Stalker pattern bolter, not the sniper rifle. It's kind of a last-ditch, desperate attempt. So yeah, there used to be a servo skull in here. That was weird. I think it was around here. Good. Let's go with the infinite ammo instead. Squigs are not fun. Ah, shit. See, not fun at all. Yeah, I think that's kind of the worst thing about this. This section is... mostly just them dropping squigs on you. A couple Arbois. I wanted to stun that guy. I got like half health and this stupid help pop-up's gonna start bugging me again. Here we go. Meltagun.
Ultramarines chapter. Access granted.
Even here, the tech priest told me their machine god.
Now the Meltagun is kind of the shotgun equivalent, but in the original design docs, the Meltagun worked a lot more like a flamethrower.
Time to die, humans! Attack!
But it's still pretty awesome. There were a lot of things in the design docs that, I mean, like the plasma guns, where plasma was supposed to like stick to guys and like do continuous damage. Shit. Ah!
And we shall know no fear.
So close to getting the... Yeah, it was like originally the plasma was supposed to stick to guys and do like continuous damage, and they were just like melt and bits fall off of them, and then the Meltagun was a little bit more like a flamethrower. It would set a guy on fire, and he would run around doing. I can't remember the exact phrase, but basically they called it like the on fire dance.
Even here, the tech priest told me
And then they kind of, I don't know if it was an engine thing or if they just decided that for the purposes of just hitting the archetypes for the game, that they just needed a shotgun equivalent, and the melter would work for that. Dead? No, he's not dead. I think the big problem with the melted gun, though, is that it does not carry a lot of ammo. It'd be much cooler if it had a lot more ammo. Yeah, like 8 shots, not enough. Yeah, I think it was around here where it was supposed to be, where you would start to get close to the big meat grinder with Midas's body and everything else. There's also originally you would sort of intersect with Sidonis and Leandros. They would be up on this bridge, so it's like you'd be walking through here, and then you'd hear like "Captain up here," and you'd look up, and they'd be right there, and they talk about. There's actually a lot of that dialogue in the radio broadcast at the very beginning of this chapter, where the Vox chat talk, where they say that the Inquisitor said that you wouldn't have survived and stuff. That conversation happened there. Like they were, like Leandros and Sidonis were surprised to see you alive, and they say, "Well, meet us up over in this other section," and then they'd wander off. I'm not sure why. Oh, hello.
Run, boys!
That got cut. But that was something that they kind of redesigned. It was a lot similar to the. I think it was a similar issue with the. It's the train and the other stuff, like the cutaways of the. I think they didn't think that enough of the focus testers noticed that. So yeah, here we go. I think there's going to be a fade to black here in a second, and that's going to... Yeah. There was the big meat... finding Midas and the big meat grinder section and stuff, that was all in there through this elevator, and then that fade to black was where they cut all that stuff out. So like basically any time that there was a fade to black, you could have guessed that there was going to be there's about 45 minutes or so more of gameplay that they just excised right there. Which is really disappointing. Superior Fury, yay! Now Fury lasts longer. But yeah, I mean that was the Midas meat grinder and the weird boy boss fight and a bunch of other things were in that section that the Fade to Black just went through. Oops, that's the wrong gun. This section actually gets pretty hard if I remember correctly. You got guys firing on you from the ground, you got guys firing from... You got guys coming at you on the same level, they're throwing squigs at you. Good. Ow, damn. Killed you already. Oh shit, I'm gonna die in a second, aren't I? Maybe not. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's Squigs. Squigs aren't cool. Squigs aren't cool. Guys shooting anything from the ground are not cool. Rocket boys are totally not cool. Keep Rocket Boy. Where are you? Rocket boys are jerks. Ah. These guys are also jerks. There's so many not knobs. Gretchen's after me. Grots are basically health packs. Actually, I think there's been... It was in the notes on one of the boss fights, I think there were some complaints about difficulty, and then like strategy, they were like, make sure you're, you know, killing the Grot health packs that are around. Alright. Melt-a-gun. Yeah, I'm looking for... Yeah, see, now you meet up with Leandros and Sedonis, and it's not as cool.
Well met, brothers. Any idea of our position?
We should be nearing an access point to the surface. The air smells a bit clean.
I've had enough of tunnels. Let's get out of here and find the Inquisitor before the orcs do.